everybody, and welcome back. I have gotten a lot of requests to continue my food storage, shelf-stable food item video series that I started here. So the one that I'm going to try to explain to you today is how to rotate your stock on your shelf-stable food storage. So in the other video, I posted 14 to 17 different menu items to give you flexibility where you're basically not eating the same meal or a similar meal more than once in a 2-week span to give you variety. A lot of the things that you see here on this table right now are similar or the same as what you saw in that other video, but I'm going to show you how I rotate my stock. And a lot of these things, remember the dates on them. These are long-term storage. Like the meats, for example, those cans are 3 to 4 years, even 5 years out sometimes. Some of the vegetables here are 1 to 2 years out, and a lot of this stuff those are not expiration dates; those are best by dates. The quality does start to diminish in time, but most of this stuff is good to easily 5 years out. But what we're going to do is I'm going to show you everything that you see here. I'm going to, off camera, I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to write on both the top and the side of the items. I'm going to try to find a good spot to put the information, the month and date of the best by date that's shown on here. And after a while, you'll get pretty good at finding. You might need reading glasses. I know I do, and some bright light. You'll get pretty good at finding the dates and putting them on here. So off camera, I'm going to do that right now, and then when I come back, you'll see all of the dates will be marked on all of this stuff. So I've off camera, it took me about 5 minutes on these roughly 20 items that you see here for me to put the dates on them. And basically, like I said, you got to watch that you don't smudge them as the Sharpie ink dries. Basically, one on the top, one on the side, because no matter how I put it on the shelf or if I put it like low in some kind of crate, then either way I can see it. Now I know some of the items that sit low in the crates. Not only do I write the date, but if there's generally something that sits on top of it, what I do is I also kind of initial what's in there. And VM for me stands for Veg Medley. I've heard horror stories. It's never happened to me. It probably is unlikely to happen where I live, but I've heard horror stories where it's not the worst thing ever, but people will get like flooding in the cans or the jars or whatever that sits closest to the floor. The labels peel off and then you don't know what's in there. So at least on the ones that I put close to the floor, if that were to ever happen, I know what's in the can. So I'm not like thinking I'm opening peas and getting green beans, for example. So the tuna cans are actually one of the hardest to actually put the dates on, but because the whole outer rim almost, except for the nutrition information sections, are all like this dark blue. But I tend to put the date right here where there's a little bit of white on each side. I'm not really writing over any of the information. And this is handy moving forward because I know that I'm always going to look in and see what the item is and the dates all kind of stacking up on each other that way. So you'll get your own system, but just showing you kind of how I do mine. And now I'm going to take you back to the shelf and give you a couple of examples of how I actually rotate the stuff in. So this area that you see here, this big shelf, is my long-term storage area. I have other areas in other areas of the house, like basically cupboards, I'll call them, that have the maybe 1 or 2 jars or cans of everything that's like essential and quick and easy access. But here in this area, I've got the long-term storage. So you see all the dates on top of this spaghetti, for example. Now I'll keep 1 or 2 jars of spaghetti up in the easy access pantry, and if you notice, there's a space here missing, and then this jar here is about to move upstairs, and the 2 jars that I just bought that I showed you earlier in the video will get rotated into here. So this one is dated 8 of next year. Right now we're in 8 of 21. This is 8 of 22. We've got a 9, 10, 10, 10, some 11s, 12s, and a 123 back there. More 123s, 2s, 4s, and 5s. And I'm about to rotate in a 5 of 23 and a 6 of 23. So all of these will rotate forward. This jar will go upstairs. the 2 empty spaces that were here. Everything will rotate around in a snake fashion, and I'll put the 2 newest jars in the back there. So let me start working on that. Okay, so here it's about 60 seconds later. I've got everything moved. That 1 jar is upstairs. And then now I've got the 2 spaces in the back here, which I'm going to put behind this 523 jar, another 523 jar, and behind that one, a 623 jar. So that takes me to the middle of basically 2 years from now. Okay, I'm in August of 21 right now as I film this. So anyway, the point here is that this is how I keep my long-term storage. That's how I do my rotation. The jar that I moved upstairs will get used soon. That one's a year out, right? So I just bought that jar probably less than 6 months ago. When I first set out to do this, I had tried to get a 3 to 4-ish month supply, and I've probably added a month and added a month since then, slowly and inexpensively, not taking the burden of all of the cost at once, to where I've probably got a 4, 5, maybe even 6-month food supply now. I kind of lost count, but basically I've got about 20 some jars of sauce here, and eating them, let's say once a week or once every other week, would put you at about 6 months, right? 6 times 4. So yeah, that's really how I do this. Now, everybody's situation may be different with how you actually do the rotation. You may have a larger pantry where you can have space, and smarter than me, you can actually walk behind and put stuff. It's a little bit easier to rotate. But I've been doing it this way for a long time, and the process only takes me, now that I've kind of got it down pat, I've got it down from about an hour per every couple weeks now to about 20 to 40 minutes now. So that's how I do it. And you can use this methodology, but basically, remember, these things are good for almost 2 years out. And I know people that would eat them probably up to 5 years past the expiration. The goal here is to try and make sure that you know what the dates are, so that they're easily readable, right? I can see it from the front or the top. So if I ever change systems and I have something like close by here on top and I can't see the tops of them, I can see the dates on the front. And my system, I start in the right front and I rotate this way to the left. You might do it the other way. You might start at the front left. That's up to you. But the point being is that you got to get this system down, and that's going to make it such that you are not, even if occasionally you lose a jar, like say it falls to the back of the pantry upstairs or whatever, and you find it a year or a year and a half from now, and maybe it's, let's say it's a month away from expiring or 6 months expired. It's 1 jar. Using this system is limiting the amount of, hey, I've got all these jars. I got these 25 jars of sauce, and 20 of them expired last month. You're not going to have that if you stay on top of things. So that's really it in a nutshell. That is how I keep my shelf-stable, long-term food storage rotated. So yeah, actually, thank you guys for supporting me, and the channel is continuing to grow. And please like and share and subscribe, and let me know let the YouTube algorithm know that you want to see more of this type of content. I appreciate you all, and I appreciate the comments that have been coming in. So thank you for that, and I will keep providing this type of content as long as you guys are requesting it. So thank you, and until next time.